Want to learn how to read piano music without feeling overwhelmed? If those lines and spaces look like a complete foreign language to you, then don't worry, I got you covered. In this video, I will be talking to you about those simple steps on how to do music theory. Stick with me and you'll be reading and playing your very first notes in no time. In today's video, let's dive into some simple and fun music theory together. For today's video, all you'll need is a loose leaf paper or a notebook and pencil. Writing things down as a musician is the best way to really learn and grasp music theory. So did you know that there are 4 key areas as a growing musician? The first one is the performance area. This is where you actually take your instrument and you perform or you practice in front of an audience. It takes the ability where you're taking the action of playing in front of your instrument. The second one is music theory. This is where you're actually writing down and analyzing music and putting it all together on paper or computer. Third is sight reading. This is where you're performing music and without minimum preparation and playing music just from the top of your head of what you know by reading and performing music. And last is ear training. This is where you're actually using just your ears, the same as performance, sight reading, except you're using your ears, listening to a piece of music and recognizing different chord progressions, patterns, and everything like that to put music together by just using your ears. So to grow in any of these areas, you've got to take the right action for the area that you're trying to focus on. So for example, in music theory, we're going to be writing things down with our notebook and our pencil so that we can be able to make sure we understand and comprehend what we're learning and what we're going to be learning for this activity today. Step 1, let's learn about the musical alphabets, A through G. In music, you only have 7 musical letters. That's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. If you go backwards, that's going to be G, F, E, D, C, B, A. And those is just going to be the repeating letters that you're going to use throughout your whole musical journey. No matter what instrument you play, piano, whatever the case, whatever instrument you play, you're going to always use only those 7 letters. Feel free to pause and sketch a mini keyboard on your drawing paper. This will help you to visualize how the keyboard looks and where your letters are placed when we move on to the next step. Step 2, let's talk about the musical staff. This is the foundation of any written music. This includes, starting from the bottom, 5 lines and 4 spaces. So what I like to use is my hand just for visual to kind of see how it goes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines and 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Again, this is called a staff where we are learning how to write our music on paper. Now, draw your own staff on paper, 5 lines and 4 spaces. This simple act of writing helps train your eyes and build memory. So think about this when you are drawing your staff. Draw your 5 lines starting from the bottom and go up. Again, make sure you draw a couple of different staffs so you can comprehend that there are 5 lines and 4 spaces. Got it? Let's move on to step 3. Did you know that there are 4 main clefs in music? Each clef shows a specific note letter that will fall on the clef. So there's going to be a bass clef for lower notes, which is going to be used for your left hand. The alto and tenor clefs are 2 separate clefs, but they're for mid-range instruments. And then you have your treble clef for higher notes or for your right hand. For piano, we're going to be focusing on just the bass clef, which is your left hand, and the treble clef, which is your right hand. The treble clef, or G clef, is played with your right hand. The swirl of the cymbal wraps around the G line, which is why we also call it the G clef. The lines on the staff will be E, G, B, D, F. As musicians, we like to use acronyms to be able to help us to memorize and get the notes down. So for the lines of the spaces, again, I like to use my hand and I like to use the acronym, Every Good Boy Does Fine. Of course, if you feel that is biased to you, you could use any other acronyms. Every good boy deserves fudge. Whichever you prefer, to make sure you have E, G, B, D, F on the lines for the treble clef. For spaces, this is going to be easy because this spells out the word F-A-C-E, which spells out face. Super simple. There's no acronym that's needed for this because it spells out the word F-A-C-E for spaces. Look closely. The notes alternate between line, space, going alphabetically. So we have E on the line, F on the space, G on the line, A on the space, and so forth. So again, grab your pencil and paper, and you're going to first draw your staff, and then you're going to draw your treble clef. Make sure the circle area of the treble clef is around the G line, which is what you just learned, and then draw E, G, B, D, and F on the lines, and F, A, C, E in the spaces, and label this as treble clef or G clef. This will make sure that you are comprehending what you're learning and you're able to see it on paper as a musician. To take it a step further, go back to your first page on how you drew your little keyboard, your little mini keyboard on the top, and try to apply it on the piano. Play E, G, D, and F on the piano, and then F, A, C, E. And then of course, if you want to take it another step further, play all the notes that are in the treble clef, starting from E all the way up to F. Step 4, bass clef and the left hand. Now, you will notice that the bass clef is going to be a completely different set of notes than the treble clef. So make sure you're paying close attention and try not to get yourself confused. The reason why we call this the F clef is because those two dots that you'll see and the main dot that is going to be in the bass clef, it actually sits right in between or on the F line. So this is how we can notate that this is the F clef. So your lines that's going to be for the bass clef are going to be G, B, D, F, and A. An acronym that I like to do for the lines is going to be Good Boys Don't Fall Asleep, or Good Boys Deserve Fudge Always. These are fun little acronyms to be able to help you memorize so that you can feel stronger. Because this bass clef sometimes can be a little frustrating at first, definitely because it's not as common as the treble clef. Your spaces are going to be A, C, E, G, and what I like to use is All Cows Eat Grass. That's very simple, fun, and it just helps you to, again, memorize what are those letters in the spaces. Now, we're going to put it all together and place G, B, D, F, and A, and A, C, E, G on your bass clef staff. And then, to take it a step further, we're going to do line, space, so that will be G on the line, A on the space, B on the line, C on the space, and so forth. It's your turn now. Go ahead, grab your notebook and your pencil, and you're first going to draw the staff, and then you're going to draw a bass clef. Make sure the dots are the right line, which is going to be your F line, and then you're going to draw and write out each letters of the lines. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can even draw another staff for the spaces and then put it all together just like how I have it in the slides. Just do what's best for you and what will make you to feel confident while you're doing your music theory and learning the lines and spaces of the treble and bass clef. Last but not least, use your left hand and apply it to the piano. Again, grab your little keyboard that you have on the top of your drawing, and you're going to go ahead and practice playing all the notes in the bass clef. So that will starting on G, which is your low note, that will be G, B, D, F, and A, and then your spaces A, C, E, G, and then if you want to move it further, you can do all lines. You can do G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So go from G all the way back up to A. Step 5, we're going to go ahead and put it all together and put it on the grand staff. Before we get into the last topic of the day, please don't be worried about if you are having a hard time in steps 1 through 4, because learning the treble clef and the bass clef is a really hard task, and it actually takes quite a bit of time to actually get to memorizing all the letters on the lines and spaces. So again, make sure you're giving yourself some patience and making sure that you understand and comprehend everything, even writing everything down over and over again to make sure that you have the concepts, and then applying it to the keyboard really does make a difference. That practice time that you do in reading and playing and practicing the music, it will build that confidence that you need to have to be a better piano player. Now that we learned the staff, the treble clef, and the bass clef, we're going to put it all together and how both hands work together when we're reading music. The grand staff is what we use to combine both clefs into one big musical map. It includes the treble clef staff on the top for your right hand and the bass clef staff on the bottom for your left hand. These two staves are joined together by a symbol called a brace, which connects them and tells the musician they are to read and play together. You'll see this symbol in nearly every piano piece. And you'll also see it in a lot of other pieces like band and orchestra pieces, because there's going to be more than one clef used in most scores for those types of music. For the last time, you're going to go ahead and grab your notebook. You're going to make sure you draw a nice long grand staff where you have 5 lines and 4 spaces, one for the treble clef and then another one for the bass clef. And then bring it together with a brace on the side to let you know that those are to be played together. And then practice putting all your letters, just like you see on the screen, all the letters in place, and practicing on how all of those letters are placed on the staff. Because again, when reading music, it is completely different than reading and playing it and applying it to the keyboard. There you have it. Those are your first essential steps on music theory and how to learn music in your own fun and easy step way. I hope today's video helped you to feel more confident in playing the piano. If it did, then please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to anyone else who you believe might need this video for them to build more confidence in playing the piano. And until next time.